Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? I've just been handed an urgent and horrifying news story, and I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
I am that dude, Bodkins.
Yeah, DP lost like, beef. Yeah.
Right, where he's wondering he's like, I
Patty to patty.
One style, like no weight classes.
Yeah, basically, like I said, there's been a couple guys that are like,
it's ridiculous. No way. There's nobody else out there. He's your guy.
That's just not my mentality, bro. Like,
yeah. Leave the ladder down. That's my always like, hey, somebody helped you out. Why not help somebody else out? Return.
Give a big round of applause for the one and only Bodkins Show.
Or bringing Craig Counsell down the interstate in a move unexpected. I had people.
I'm going to repeat that again, folks. I didn't stutter. Welcome to the Bodkins Show.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Bodkins Show. It is our weekly dump where we dump everything out from the past week. Hopefully, everybody had a great Christmas. And we head into the new year, baby. The new year is right around the corner, 2025. Holy shit. And you know what everybody's going to be. It's going to be new me, new year, new me. It's probably going to be New Year, same bullshit you. Whatever your resolution is, just try to stick to it. My New Year's resolution is usually the same every year. It's just to try to be a better person than I was the year before. And it's that, whether it's just like I try to pick up a new thing, like read a little bit more, try to be a little bit nicer, try to be a little bit better. That way I'm not holding myself to anything really like where I can't, that I'm not going to do, but it's easy to just wake up and try to be a better person than he was the year before, whether it's a better friend, better father, better person. You know what it is. If you are one of the people that gonna go to the gym, just give it time. You know what I mean? Like, can't just nothing wakes up. You're not gonna wake up February or January 2nd and be like, it's not just gonna, I'm in shape. Not after your fat ass has been sitting on the fucking couch for 6 fucking years. You know what I mean? It's going to take time. It's going to take progress. You're going to have some setbacks. Just stick with it. Stick with your mind. That's the best way to do it in anything. But find something that you can, if you're going to do a New Year's resolution, find something that you can hold yourself accountable to, and that's something that's easily attainable. But for the most part, we know everybody, new year, new me. How about we just say New Year improved me is what I always like to say. Because I like to try to be a better person, better version of myself than I was here before. Life is moving crazy. It seems like, COVID 2020 was just yesterday, and we are already now about to be 5 years removed from that shit. Fucking wild. This time goes by fast. I feel like the days and months go long, but the years go by fast the older I get. But man, it was a good Christmas. Hopefully everybody had a good Christmas, and we look into 2025. This episode, mainly a lot of look back at 2024. We'll talk our top 5 today. Later on in the show, be top 5 sports storylines or people. Johnny's going to give out his top 5 movies or TV shows of the year. I'll give out my top 5 albums of the year as well. But plus we'll talk a little bit of everything. Yesterday we had a lot of sports. It's like, first of all, these bowl games I don't care about. It seemed like everybody was tuned into the Pop-Tart Bowl, and we'll bring Johnny on in just a second. And Cam Ward only playing a half. I don't really understand why to play a half. Just let him sit out the bowl game. I get that he played. He's also getting paid to play, so there's that. So I see both arguments. But if we just got rid of the dumb shit and just focus on the CFP, that's the only thing that matters. We don't need all this extra bullshit. But we'll see what the guy who's Cam Ward was highly, whether it seemed like people were either criticizing him or praising him for playing the half. I don't really know. I don't really care. But we'll get Mr. Hughes, Johnny Cruz. Johnny, what was your take on Cam Ward's half, just playing a half yesterday?
Well, thank you, brother Bodkins, for shipping it over to me here on this Sunday morning. That was a nice intro there with the be a better person as your New Year's resolution. I'm with you. I'm not one to put resolutions on for what, you know what I'm saying, because it's hard to follow through. You're either gonna make a change or you're not. You know what I'm saying? The new year that just puts a date on it to give you an excuse to keep on doing what you're doing up until January 1st. So if you're gonna do something, do it now. Just put your mind to it. But I'm with you, Nick. Just be a better person and try to have a better year than the year before. That's all you can do going into New Year's. As far as this Pop-Tart Bowl that the Hurricanes played and lost again in three out of four to end the season. Again, Mario. As far as him only playing the first half, I'm okay with it. I mean, he played at all. He didn't have to play. A lot of these guys don't play, especially when you got a chance to be a top 5 pick. But so it was nice to see him out there with the squad one more time. Again, easily put up points. But we got exposed just like we would have gotten exposed in the playoffs. So for all the people that were banging the table, myself included, that I would have liked to have seen Cam Ward in the playoff because of how good he is. But our defense and our team is just not good enough. We lost to freaking Iowa State. And so maybe don't bang on the table that hard, you know what I'm saying, for your team, just because, you know what I'm saying, your team's having a good season. And on that one, I'm going to go ahead and do a dump here to all Miami Hurricanes fans that are just going ape shit. Like, be grateful you have 10 wins, bro. You haven't been the same Miami team we've been since 2001. That's 24 years almost. So let's stop pretending that a 10-win season isn't a big deal, because it hasn't happened much the last 20-plus years. Mario is slowly building. I criticize him a little bit, but he's slowly building it up. We got to 10 wins this year. But he wanted to see who this young quarterback Emory Williams is, and Emory Williams showed that he ain't it. So you better either hit that portal. We got a couple of true freshmen that are really coming in that are really, really good. But again, they're true freshmen. So I would expect Miami to hit the portal or whatever. But as far as people criticizing him only playing a half, he didn't have to play at all. I'm good with it. I think Mario looked at it like, we'll let him play the first half so that everybody can, enjoy him one more time. And then the second half, let's see what this young kid, can do so that we're prepared for next season. So he basically used it as a glorified spring game, which sucks, for like people that paid or whatever. But at the same time, I get it. So I kind of hear you as far as like, we don't need these bowls, but at the same time, the coaches could use them for situations like this, where you can see some of the younger kids and they celebrate them all week and stuff like that. So you want your kids to experience that. So I wouldn't get rid of all the bowls, but I completely hear you on them not meaning shit. You know what I'm saying? The only ones that matter are the playoff ones. But I mean, it sucks to lose again, but they put up points. I don't have a problem with him only playing the half. I understand why they did it. Again, 10-3 or 11-2 with a Pop-Tarts Bowl win. Like, it doesn't fucking matter. You know what I'm saying? You got to see these young kids play. You realize that you still need a quarterback, you know what I'm saying, for going into next year, which I expected them to get somebody in the portal anyway. But you got to find out what you have in-house. So I don't mind it that the JoJo Trader kid, the wide receiver, is a stud. So that's we found that out. Again, we found out a couple of the young kids that we can look forward to for next season.
Yeah, it'll be interesting, and I just don't think that like half the kids don't fucking play anyway.
Right.
It seemed like people were bitching about Cam Ward like only playing a half. And kudos to your coach. At the same time, though, I will say this is like, I'll say this, like, at least he kept that private. You know what I mean?
Right. And that's the other thing. He gets a lot of shit from like the local press, because he is private about this shit. Yeah, he always says that it's between those are private conversations with me and the player or whatever. We don't discuss that publicly or whatever. Those decisions were made in house. You know what I'm saying? That's something he says all the time, which I do give him credit for. And again, you know what I'm saying? Cam Ward didn't have to play at all. He wanted to play a little bit. The ones that are complaining are either people that bet on the game,
right,
or Hurricane fans that again would have been happy to win the Pop-Tarts Bowl and watch Cam Ward pull a last-second victory against an Iowa State team that we shouldn't even be competing with. We should have destroyed them. But those are the ones that are complaining. You know what I'm saying? The gamblers and the Yankee fans. I mean, excuse me, the Hurricane fans that don't realize the bigger picture and just want to say, "Oh, we beat Iowa State. We won a bowl game." Yes, we need to win a bowl game. It's been a minute, but I'm not stressing the Pop-Tarts Bowl. It is.
Yeah. the bowl game doesn't really matter to me. Like
Right.
I said, like who cares? Like, you know what I mean? Like, is anybody gonna fucking remember that you were played in the fucking Pop-Tart Bowl 3 years ago? Tell me the last 3 winners of the fucking Pop-Tart Bowl right off the top of your head.
Right.
You fucking
I didn't even know it was a real thing until like I really paid attention. I remember last year with the guy in the mascot, the
ripping
Pop-Tart
off
mascot. Right.
Yeah.
That's
To
why,
me, like
that's why you know the Pop-Tarts Bowl, not because of the teams that were in it.
I said, it looks like how they would reveal a new wrestler in the 80s. You know what I mean? Ripping off the fucking like that's how the Shockmaster came out or some shit. You know what I mean? Like that's how that's what that reminds me of. But yeah, the rest of the bowl games are absolutely. I mean, just let's move to the actual real bowl games. Let's just get
the ones that matter.
Yeah, I just want to get your picks here. We kind of already talked about the matchups from last Sunday because now they'll play this New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. We got the first one is Penn State, Boise State in the Fiesta Bowl. Penn State 11.5 favorite. I really like Boise State to maybe win this outright for sure to cover.
I mean, I'm completely with you on that. Because in my opinion, we talked about it a little bit last week. Penn State, I mean, yeah, they're a good team. Are they the 4th best team in the country? I don't think so. Are they the 4th best team left in this bracket? Probably.
I don't think so.
Right, that's what I'm saying. That you can argue that.
What name of other than
exactly what big game? What big game has he won?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? No, I'm completely with you on that one. So that's not bad. You said it was 8.5. Is this spread?
No, 11.5.
11.5. Yeah, that might be take Boise State in that those 11 points might be a good one there.
Boise State almost outright. I mean,
I expect Boise State to give them a game. And yes, I know that Penn State just beat down on whoever the hell they played last week. That's how memorable that playoff game was.
Yeah.
But they stomped them out, but that doesn't mean that they, you know what I'm saying? Like, it very well could be a horrible game for Penn State. They scored 10 points. You know what I'm saying? So
stomped out SMU. That's
right. Yeah, that was SMU. So again, it could just be a case of another small school program going up against a Power 5, and yeah, that's possible. But it wouldn't shock me if Boise State wins this game.
You know, and real quick, we've been griping about the playoff bracket. There was a stat that came out. 15 of the 30 game or 16 of the 30 games of when it was 14 playoffs, 16 of 30 of those were 3-score games, or like 3 touchdown, 3-score games. So like,
right,
college football's been fucking having blowouts, and I mean, I hate it. I fucking hate it. Like, I just want really good games. I hope we get some good games New Year's Day. I'm not waking up with a hangover anymore, but there used to be something about nursing that hangover on New Year's Day, watching all the football games. But I'm not really waking up too much with a hangover anymore. But man, I just hope we can get some games New Year's Eve, New Year's Day. So that's the New Year's Eve game. The New Year's Day games, we'll go through them here real quick. We got Texas, Arizona, or they're not at Arizona, but versus Arizona State, the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. Texas 12.5 point favorite. Again, I'd almost like the dog here. 12.5's a lot. Like it's a lot, but man, Texas seems to be a wagon right now.
Yeah, Texas coming off that big win. Their defense looks legit. The Efforts kid at quarterback seems to like make one play a game, at least one play a game, where you're scratching your head like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
But overall, I mean, Texas just looks like the better team. And again, I can't say that I've seen a lot of Arizona State, and then you would normally say, oh, well, but they made it this far, so they should be like, I don't know. Don't mean shit. You know, say that they're here and they had a first round bye. That just means they won their conference. And was it a good conference? I don't know.
The Big 12, not that great.
Right. You know what I'm saying? So this is another one. Like, I feel better about the Boise State one because of the Gentry kid, the running back.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I don't know anybody from Arizona State. I don't know how good they can be. So they could easily get stomped out by Texas here. So that's probably the one that I would avoid if I was going to avoid any of the 4 as far as gambling. That is a big spread, though. You said, what, 16.5?
12.5.
12.5. I mean, that's still 2 touchdowns, basically. which again in college football ain't shit. You know what I'm saying? Like Texas
Yeah.
could easily blow them out. So if I had to, I would probably go Texas to cover, not confidently, but that would probably be the one game out of the four that I would stay away from if I was gambling.
Yeah, and then you got I like this one here, Ohio State, Oregon. Somehow Ohio
Yeah,
State,
a rematch of week 1, right?
yeah, somehow Ohio State's favored in this game -2.5. How do you watch that Michigan game and be like, you know what, they can beat that, they can beat the number one team in the nation? I know they just beat the brakes off of Tennessee at home, but it's this team still. If they lose that game, their coach is probably being fired. So, and again, it's Ryan. Much like we just talked about with Rich Franklin in a big game. When's where Ryan Day ever won a big fucking game? Give me Oregon with the points. I mean, and the money line, all of it together.
Well, I mean, being a Miami Hurricane fan, there's no way I'm an Ohio State Buckeye fan. So I would love nothing more than to see Oregon beat the shit out of them. But Ohio State, man, they like full roster has definitely one of the best rosters. Like they no doubt are one of the top teams in college football. Where Penn State, like especially since Ohio State beat the shit out of Penn State. This is like it's a shame that they're playing this game now, but it is what it is. That's just the way the committee put the bracket together. This is the one that's the you know what I'm saying. Make sure I get that power nap in and whatever you know what I'm saying hangover nap I need. So that way I'm ready for that Ohio State Oregon game. I'm gonna give it one more try with John. Try to get him to watch some college football. Hopefully another blowout like last playoffs. He did enjoy the game yesterday with Miami and Iowa State, but because it was competitive and back and forth. But of course it ended horribly. But I really like this Ohio State Oregon game. Oregon's been number one for a hot minute. Only undefeated team. Experienced quarterback, good skill players, good defense. That's going to be a good one there. I understand Ohio State being favored by the 2.5. They just got the best roster, and it seems like they see that M on the Michigan helmet and they act stupid and do stupid shit. You know what I'm saying? It's like there's so much pressure on that whole Michigan Ohio State game that it seems like I don't know if Ryan Day is like riding them extra hard that week or whatever. But he's going to have to change it up, obviously, because he can't find a way to beat Michigan. But this team is constantly winning 10 games. They're constantly well coached. I expect Ohio State to be ready for Oregon, especially to avenge that loss from week 1. So I would take Ohio State here. I mean, 2.5 ain't nothing. It's just a field goal, and they cover that. But I'm interested to see it. Like, I want to see Oregon, up against a top-notch team, and that quarterback Gabriel against the top-notch team is interesting to see it. But that should be the fun one, bro. I mean, they could all be fun. They could all be fun and interesting games. And say, hopefully, we get 4 really good games.
The last game on New Year's Day is Notre Dame, Georgia. In Georgia, no Carson Beck. He just had to have surgery. So Georgia is only favored at -1.5. Again, man, like I would stay away from this game because I don't really know like what the backup quarterback is going to look like for Georgia, right? You know what I mean? We didn't really we saw in the second half of the SEC championship game in a close game, a game in which they won. But man, it's just to me like I don't know. And Notre Dame, they looked pretty darn good against Indiana, but that was against Indiana, so it's not Georgia, and that's the nightcap game. That game to me is going to be interesting. I'll tell you what, man. Like for Oregon, they didn't Oregon no favors in this bracket. You didn't have to beat Ohio State and then probably Texas to get to.
I mean, they honestly should have been where Penn State was placed.
Yeah,
or they should have been playing the winner out of Boise State, Penn State, or SMU. You know what I'm saying, like that one. If you're gonna get the top seed, you should get rewarded for it. It seems like they got punished. It was almost like they were like, "Nah, we want Oregon out of here as quickly as possible."
Yeah, so I mean, Ohio State is the lower seed. They're the 8th seed, but I don't know if they're the 8th best team. I think we saw them beat Penn State.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So like,
that's why I'm saying this whole seeding thing. We've talked about it with our gripes and stuff like that as far as how they seed everything. So again, I'm with you. It's a shame that Ohio State and Oregon is playing already. But that Notre Dame Georgia one, I know Beck is out, but Beck reminds me of Ken Dorsey from the Miami games, where he just did what he had to do. He didn't win us games. There was just so much talent on the team that he just had to like not fuck it up. So that's what Beck reminds me of. I know there was a lot of hype for him to be a top quarterback. Nah, bro. Like he just looks like a guy. You know what I'm saying? He may be a good quarterback.
There's been a lot of those guys.
Yeah.
You know, Alabama had a few, like Greg McElroy was kind of that way.
Right. Mac Jones. You know what I'm saying? Should have been drafted where he was drafted. It ain't his fault. You know what I'm saying? So I'm with you on that. So I think Georgia has enough talent on that team everywhere else to compete. But if they don't have their main guy pulling the trigger and this kid pees down his leg, I can see Notre Dame stomping them out. That Notre Dame defense is fast. They're very aggressive. I mean, I can't say I've seen a lot of Notre Dame games, but that was pretty impressive. I know it was Indiana, and I was happy that Indiana got stomped out like that. Their coach, come on, man, like calm down, bro. You're Indiana. Like, you know what I'm saying? Good for you. Great season, but you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Take a step back, bro. You're Indiana. You got embarrassed. So I can see Notre Dame pulling that out, bro. Without the veteran quarterback for Georgia, you know what I'm saying? Will it be surprised me if Georgia wins an ugly game, 13-10, and they run the ball for 200 yards? No, that wouldn't surprise me at all.
Defense makes some turnovers.
And some defense. You know what I'm saying? It could be a very defense-oriented game. Yeah, that's gonna be interesting. That's why the Ohio State. If Beck was playing that Georgia game, then it'd be like, they ended the night perfect with Oregon State, Ohio State, and then Georgia, Notre Dame. But with Beck being out, it kind of like puts a little damper on the Georgia Notre Dame game. But it could very well still be a good game. But
to me, it makes it more intriguing.
I got to put the edge towards Notre Dame without Beck there. If Beck's there, that even though, you know what I'm saying, I'm not sold on him, at least, he's the leader of that team. So if I had to, I would go Notre Dame on this one. And Notre Dame's getting points, right? A couple points?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would go Notre Dame on that one there.
Yeah. Notre Dame's getting just it's like it's really a pick 'em, to be honest.
But,
Johnny, let's move to some baseball here. The rich continue to get richer. I don't know how the Dodgers, they just must print money. They signed Teoscar Hernandez to a 3-year, $66 million deal. He stays with the Dodgers. I mean, Jesus, like, I don't know how they pay all these people.
Well, they found that loophole where they're deferring money. And again, it's a loophole only because we've never seen it to this extent. I'm sure there was other teams that might have done a little something like that. Like, there's obviously the infamous Bobby Bonilla still getting paid from the Mets every July 1st.
Yeah.
But the amount of money that's being deferred is insane.
I don't think they deferred any of his money though.
Yeah, they did. They deferred only like $50 million, but it's $50 million that's deferred. And then when you put that on top of the 600 and something that's deferred.
This is 18. So Hernandez signed the Dodgers for 1 year, 23 with 8.5 million of it deferred.
Okay.
So
I thought it was a 3-year deal.
Yeah, I'm kind of eventually decided that includes a club. So it's a club option for 15 million and 28, and with a 16.5 million. So it's really like a.
It has the potential to be a 5-year deal. You know what I'm saying? But
it would be like a 3-year deal, but it's kind of like a 1-year deal. You know what I mean?
Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
So 1 year with a bunch of incentives that can kick the second year into effect and stuff like that. Yeah. I mean that's a good deal for for them, but they're loaded, bro. And now it seems like they've got the exit ramp, for all the Japanese players. And it is what it is, like location. Like, like Lex Luthor said in the first Superman. That's dating me there, people. That was the 70s. But yeah, so I mean, I get the Los Angeles Dodgers appeal for the Japanese player. They got Shohei, they got Yamamoto last year. There's a 90% chance they get this Roki kid, Suzuki out of Japan is coming out. 23-year-old flamethrower. Like, come on, man. Yeah. So the rich are getting richer. Hopefully he doesn't go over there. Like I hope Roki doesn't, but LA just seems to have that connection to not only to the Japanese, but again this whole deferring thing. They're able to just get guys under the luxury tax, so they're not paying the luxury taxes here, and then they just spread it out throughout all these other years or whatever. So at some point, the bill's going to come due. But for now,
That's the next guy's problem. That's the next guy's problem.
Right. They're going after it, trying to win as many as they can in this window here, and I don't blame them. You got a generational player in Shohei.
We grew up, especially me. You're a little bit older than me, but I grew up. This was the Yankees model. You know what I mean? Like, hey, we go out. We're gonna go get the best damn players. We're gonna pay. If we were gonna, even if we technically overpay what people might say, pay above what market price might say. We're gonna go get a Mark Teixeira. We're gonna go get a Randy Johnson. We're gonna go get a Roger Clemens. We're gonna go get this person. We're gonna, like the Yankees always did that in the '90s and the early 2000s. Right. So like now the Dodgers have kind of said, "Yeah, we're going to take this model and we're gonna do it even better now."
Yeah, and again, location. They're doing it from beautiful California. You know what I'm saying? Where we're in New York in the wintertime, you're with Timberland boots, and you know what I'm saying, and you gotta deal with with 5 pound rats. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's a little different living in New York than living in LA. So they got that advantage as well, but. Yeah, I mean, props to them for doing what they got to do to put this team together. They signed Blake Snell, to solidify a rotation. Again, there's rumors that the Roki kid might go over there. So, I mean, that's just another arm.
He's met with a few teams. I know the Cubs have met with him.
The Yankees met, Cubs met with him.
Yeah.
And then LA, San Diego, I know he's close with Yu Darvish. So there's a lot of speculation about him possibly going there. So I mean, it's gonna be interesting to see where he goes. But regardless, that rotation is nasty for the Dodgers. You got again Shohei, Mookie Betts, and all those other guys in the lineups. I mean, it's just incredible. Props to the Dodgers and what they've been doing. I've never been the biggest admirer of that, even as a Yankee fan, and I've said this publicly plenty of times and on a lot of different platforms. Like I like the late 90s version of them because they actually developed their players. That was when George was suspended for a few years. They couldn't make trades, so they were able to build up the farm system, which was Jeter, Mariano, and all those guys. And then they got the complementary pieces in Tino and Scott Brocious or whatever to go on that run in the 90s. It was after that George went back to being George, going after Jason Giambi and all these people, blah, blah. But yeah, that's exactly what the Yankees used to do. And for all the Yankee fans that are complaining about the Dodgers doing it, bro, we did it forever. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is what it is. You can't be mad because somebody has a bigger stick than you do, is doing the same thing you do, they just got a bigger stick. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. Keep doing what you're doing. And then, again, we got Steve Cohen right here in our own city that we got to, in our own state that we got to deal with. But no, I like what the Dodgers are doing. Hopefully, I just hope Shohei can stay healthy. That's the one thing I worry about with him doing the both sides. Yeah. How long is that elbow going to, you know what I'm saying? How long is that elbow going to hold up, and how many surgeries in can it possibly affect your hitting?
To me,
I just don't want it to affect his hitting. You know what I'm saying? Like if his arm or his elbow is that bad that he can't swing like he normally would, then I would be worried about that. If he winds up not being able to pitch the last 8 years of the contract, it ain't going to matter. Because he's going to be a hell of a hitter. But I just
already MVP this year and didn't pitch. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's going to be fun to watch him do both. And again, hopefully he can stay healthy past next year and we see this for at least a couple more years. You know what I'm saying? See him doing both things. I don't see him. I don't know, man. Late game situations, pull him out of the bullpen and shit to just throw an inning or two in a big playoff game, maybe something like that, like for the last several years of his deal. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know how long he's going to be able to go both ways. But the Dodgers, man, are it, bro. And again, it's in beautiful California. So that helps. Don't think that everybody and their mother went to go beat the Lakers just to play with Kareem. No, that's not why. You know, say, it was to play with Kareem, but it was also to be in LA. Come on now. Real quick too. Yes, on the 28th, so 2 days ago, Corbin Burns signs a 6-year deal, $210 million deal with the Diamondbacks. I didn't see that. It's weird because like you're hearing the Mets, you're hearing the Cubs, possibly you're hearing I think the Yankees, the O's, and here come the Diamondbacks signing him to a 6-year, $210 million. While they're not they got to compete with the Dodgers. Number one, that takes Burns away from the Orioles, so you got to be happy about that. But listen to this: the Diamondbacks have a good rotation here, so they already added him. They have Zach Gallen, obviously, who's a stud. Morel Kelly, Brandon Pafat, and Eduardo Rodriguez, and don't forget Jordan Montgomery. Is kind of still there, and maybe they'll add, as well. So like Corbin Burns to the Diamondbacks was huge. Walker Buehler kind of signs a 1-year deal to the Red Sox. Gleyber Torres leaves your Yankees to go to the Tigers. How about him and Javi Baez, 2 former Cubs there, teaming up together? Your thoughts on just kind of those 3 signings there?
Yeah, I'm super happy for Gleyber. I think he needed a fresh start. He obviously wanted to be a Yankee and stay at the Yankees, but I think he's the exact type of player that we're trying to move away from. We're trying to get into a better defensive, higher baseball IQ, smarter base running defense. You know what I'm saying? That's more contact. I will bang on the table when I would die on this hill. If he focused on just hitting and not trying to have power, he'd be way over 300. He'd be a 320 hitter. You know what I'm saying? Like if he really focused that well instead of those spurts where he goes through where he's trying to hit home runs. That always messes up. You saw him, he had a better second half and a better run in the playoffs.
Just be a contact guy. Just get on base.
Yeah, just get on base, bro. You know what I'm saying? Just get on base. Let the guys behind you do what they got to do. So it's going to be interesting to see. I wish him nothing but success over there in Detroit. The Walker Buehler, and then that's coming off of I want to say Gordon Trochet. I could have butchered that. The trade they made with the White Sox to get that kid there. I forget his name right now. But anyway, I mean, bro, like Boston's going to be a problem. They got a really young, athletic. I love Alex Cora, even though he irritates me as a Yankee fan because he's the Boston manager. But I really like him. I would have loved the Yankees to have gone after him when he got suspended a few years ago. I ain't even a front because I just think he's that good of a baseball mind. That's what you need in the managers. But they got a good young athletic lineup and defense there. You put some starting pitching. Hopefully they can stay healthy for their sake. Boston's going to be a problem, bro. So, and the American League is weak, in my opinion, with all the guys going to the National League, including Corbin Burns that you mentioned. Super excited for Arizona. Like, way to, you know what I'm saying, make your move. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. They developed well. They're coming off of, a couple years ago going to the World Series when nobody expected it. A little bit of a down year this year, but they tried to make a comeback in the second half. But to put a stud like that with his experience at the head of your rotation that's young but really good and up and coming, like Arizona pitching wise, all of them over there, you know what I'm saying? If San Diego makes a move for a start as well, but they still got Cease and Utah. Like the pitching in the National League West is nasty. And Arizona definitely, I'm grateful that he's no longer in Baltimore. I don't know what Baltimore's doing. They need to take advantage of this, now this window that they have all these good young position players.
We're gonna lose Statlander and Corbin Burns.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and
unless they can re-sign Statlander, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Santander. Yeah.
Sorry, you know what I'm talking about.
He's a big power guy, not a good defender. But you know him, he's been in your clubhouse. They may have to pivot now and re-sign him since they lost their best pitcher. But I don't know if I'm surprised they haven't done anything, and then to let him go is even worse. But glad he's in the National League. I like what Arizona's done again. I think the American League is weak, so I think it's open for anybody. So I like what the Yankees have done. Again, I like what Boston's done. The Guardians are a little confusing or whatever, but as far as these moves that were made the last few days, Corbin Burns going to Arizona, props to him going over there. Props to Arizona for stepping up. I think he lives over there in the offseason. So that probably helped out as well too, and it's less taxes that some of the LA teams that were going after him. So he made a good decision for him and his family, man. And I'm glad it's the National League.
Yeah. Real quick, you mentioned the American League being weak. One team that's always you mentioned the Astros being kind of your rival. They bring in Christian Walker on Monday, and that pretty much marks the end of the Alex Bregman era in Houston. So it'll be interesting. He's kind of still out there. There's Pete Alonso's kind of still out there. There's still a few, top heavy free agents, but like the tier one guys are gone now. It feels like, and now we're down to the tier two guys are getting signed.
Yeah, and I like with what the Astros have done, considering they had to trade one of the best players in baseball in Kyle Tucker.
Yeah.
They got some good pieces from him, from Chicago for him, including the Paredes kid that could play third. So that basically takes the spot of Bregman. I like was it Christian Walker for them?
Yeah.
A really good glove. He's going to take advantage of that short porch at left field. I know a lot of Yankee fans are banging the table for him because of how good he was defensively and we needed a first baseman or whatever, but I like that fit for Houston. And again, but the American League's going to be weak, so I would, if I had to right now, I would say New York, Boston, Houston, and whatever Baltimore does are probably the best teams in the American League. We'll see. Hopefully, Kansas City Royals can keep it going off of the nice run they had this past season. The AL is definitely weaker than the NL this year. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens, who makes a big move at the trade deadline and stuff like that. And there's still a lot of time. I think the Roki Sasaki domino has to fall for the rest of these guys to get signed because a lot of these guys are still attached to qualifying offers, which takes away draft picks from you, and it also takes away international money, which is the one thing about the Roki Sasaki difference as opposed to Yamamoto is he came out early, so he can only get paid from the international money that the teams have. It's not like he's a free agent like Yamamoto was, where he could sign for hundreds of millions of dollars. So he didn't do this for money. He did this because he wanted to hurry up and get over here. Yeah. And everybody legit has a chance depending on how much international money, because I think it only goes up to like $6 million or something like that, $7 million. So everybody has a chance for that, but I think a lot of teams are waiting to see where he goes. So then they won't care if they lose international money by signing these specific free agents. You know what I mean? So I think those teams are holding out hope to possibly get him. And I think the Yankees are included in this. There's a lot of people that are like, well, why haven't they made another move, to try the bullpen for the infield? You know what I'm saying? I think they're waiting to see what this kid does. And he gets posted, I think the 15th is January is when he can start negotiating. So he has until the 23rd of January. So we still got a little less than a month where we got to wait to see what he does. I think once he does, then everybody else will sign. I mean, you'll still get a signing here or there, but some of the major ones that have like qualifying offers attached to them, it's probably going to be after Roki makes his decision in January, and then we'll see the rest of those guys go. But I think Pete Alonso, just go back to the Mets, bro. Like, you should have signed that 150-something that they offered you last season or whatever. I think that they said something in a report. He's asking for $200 million. Like, bro, you're not a $200 million guy.
And maybe not him and Soto. Alonso and Soto could just be just as good, maybe not quite as good. He's not as Aaron Judge and Soto were for the Yankees this year.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's one thing he is. He is a power hitter. So you want that bat in your lineup with Juan Soto and Lindor and stuff, and he's been a Met his whole career. So, but I think they played it right. You know what I'm saying? They offered him something, he turned it down. They said, "All right, go ahead, go test the market." And the market's dry. They offered him 3 for $90, which is, I mean, for you to say that you want 200-something million, bro, like that's some good shit you smoking, bro. Because you know what I'm saying? Obviously, the market, you know what I'm saying? It is what it is. So that you're not going to get that. Do you not go back to a familiar place? And $90 million is still $90 million now. He may be holding out for the fourth year. So maybe the Mets go to the fourth year for him. But besides Alonso, there isn't much out there, except for, like you mentioned, Santander and a couple other players. But for the most part, everybody's been scooped up. But it's going to be interesting to see where he goes. But I think it's gonna be back to the Mets.
Yeah, well, real quick, speaking of the Mets, they bring back Sean Manaea on a 3-year, $75 million deal. That's they don't their rotation's not the greatest. He might be one of their best pitcher.
Yeah.
And then the Phillies, I like this because the Cubs were in on Jesus
Luzardo,
and he goes to the Phillies. So that's a good trade for the Phillies to kind of bolster their rotation. And Andrew McCutchen returns back to the Pirates. So
nice.
There's that as well. So that kind of wraps up the last week of the hot stove of baseball. Real quick, I want to get into the NBA real fast before we talk a little football. Mike Brown of the 76ers of the Kings got fired, their head coach. This is a guy who took that team to the playoffs 2 years ago, was coach of the year, broke the longest streak of not making the playoffs, has a winning record as a coach in your organization. Now I get this season's been a little rocky. They've lost I think like 5 out of their last, let's see. Oh, I'm looking at it here. Let me look at their okay, so they've lost where they've lost here. Their last, so they are currently 13-19. So they are below 500. They're like 7-7. Oh, let me look here. Their last 10. Do they got that here?
3-7. 3-7 in the last 10.
3-7 in their last 10. So I get that they're struggling, but like it's the NBA, man. Like you can make that ground up. We're not even at the halfway mark. The Suns are right there too. You know what I mean? So it's just it's interesting. I don't think he should have been fired. Now I was glad they brought in Doug Christie. Like Doug Christie, is synonymous to me with the Kings. I thought he played there for longer than 5 seasons, but your thoughts here. I think the Kings made a mistake here, and the fact that they said that everybody was on the plane waiting, and the plane was getting ready to take off, and then everybody was waiting on Coach Brown to show up. Well, Coach Brown never showed up because he was fired.
Yeah, there's a lot of speculation coming out that the night before him calling out DeAndre Fox.
And there's reports that he was on the trade block too as well. So
right. So I'm wondering if that was like the final nail in the coffin. But now, as an organization, again, there's rumors that you're going to trade Fox. So then why would you pick him? Unless you're trying to keep him and trying to make him happy, appease him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, why would you fire a coach that has shown to be a good coach? Yeah, you have it down here, but the NBA, the West is stacked, bro.
Yeah.
But you got some good young players there. You got a good coach.
I mean, the Denver Nuggets are 17-13, and they're in the 7th seed. You know what I mean? So if the season ends today, they're playing that bullshit playoff thing that we had.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. So I think it was strictly for that. And again, it still boggles my mind because you pick the player over the coach, which the NBA, they're always going to do that, especially now with this time of player empowerment. These guys pretty much pick where they want to go, who they want to play for, and whatever. So I think that was what happened. Was he probably got called out. Now, if Fox is demanding a trade, and you're the one that told ownership to get rid of the head coach, then you're a douche. You know what I'm saying? Because if you know you want out, then I would let them know. You know what I'm saying? Even if you're not happy with him throwing you under the bus and you want to speak on it and let them know, look, I want out anyway. So if you like this coach, you want to keep this coach, by all means, go ahead. But I don't want to play for him or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Get me out of here. So now for them to fire the coach, they better keep him now. Because if you fire the coach and you get rid of the player, I mean, it's a laughingstock franchise, to be quite honest. Anyway,
yeah. It felt like they were turning it around when he got there, though.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So, and they got some good young pieces there too. So
yeah, Sabonis, they got Fox, they brought in DeMar DeRozan, like
right, and they got some good young players that they drafted as well.
Keegan Murray,
Keegan Murray, right. You know what I'm saying? So you have some players there. Yeah, the season hasn't started out great, but again, like you just mentioned, the Nuggets are only 4 games away from you in the win column. So you're about 4 games behind the 7th seed.
And you're only 3 games behind the 10th seed.
Right. Yeah. Right. You know what I'm saying? And with the whole play in and all that stuff. So I mean, postseason is. I mean, they pretty much put every team in the damn postseason. You know what I'm saying? Like, holy shit! Now that I'm looking at the standings, 10 out of the 15 go. Jeez.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yes, I mean anything can happen, but I think it was the whole him calling out Fox. Like that's the only thing that makes sense because a lot of people are shocked that he got fired because he was doing a good job.
Yeah, this season just a little rocky start. Speaking of that, the playoffs. Did you hear this? That they the players want it just to be like 1 through 16, no East West.
Right.
Now I kind of like it, and as even as like a get off my lawn type person. The older we get, I kind of like it because I'd rather have just the 16 best teams in.
Yeah, I'm completely with you on that. That's something that I've heard floated out there along like several years ago.
Yeah.
That idea of being thrown out there. I'm all for that. I'm with you. I want to see the best teams. And you know what? If the West has, if it's 16 teams or whatever, if the West has 10 out of the 16 that are the best ones, then it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? I mean, just get better. You know what I'm saying? Right. But or if you're gonna do, if you're gonna do 8 from each conference, and then once you pick, if you want the regular season to have an East, you know what I'm saying? So the top eight teams in both conferences make the playoffs. Then once they make the playoffs, then you reseed by record. Yeah, you reseed it by record and do it that way. And then you have. They've always been against that because of logistics and if you got game 1 and 2 in LA, and then God forbid you got to get on your private God forbid you got to get on your private jet and fly all the way to New York on a Wednesday to play on Thursday. Like, shut up, man. You know what I'm saying? Like,
how many times have we sat here too? And we were like, we bitch about game 1 on Sunday, but game 2 ain't till fucking Thursday. Right. So you know what I mean? It don't fucking like, come on, shut up.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They put so much. That's a great point. I forgot about that too. They put so much space in between each game. Like you have plenty of time to actually. Right, the logistics you can actually fix it by not having 8 days off in between each series and shit like that.
Really, I think if I'm the NBA, I'm pushing for that because I think the ratings would be better for the finals. Yeah. If you have the legit the 2 best teams typically, like in a 7-game series, 9 out of 10 times the best team usually wins. You know what I mean? Like, you get better series. I feel like in the finals.
Yeah, when I heard that,
I don't mind your idea. Like the top 8 teams of each conference get it, and then you bundle them up, rank them 1 through 16. I'm okay. So that way you still have just saying. The best 16 teams of this 28 teams get in, which is way too fucking much already. You know what I mean? But
no, I'm with you on that. I mean, I would like either one. I was on board with this idea, but 5 years ago, whenever it first got mentioned about the reseeding and just having it just be one big tournament instead of the 2 separate conferences or whatever. But yeah, I would love to see that. I'm with you. I think that would help the ratings out. Especially for some of the matchups where you won't expect to get early on. If you wind up with a Thunder Heat matchup, you know what I'm saying, early on in the playoffs, that's gonna be fun, man. I think that would put some spice into it. Yeah, the old school traditionalists, but for the most part, the NBA always adjusts and their rules and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes to their detriment now with this whole 3-point shit. But that would put some extra life and fire into the playoffs, in my opinion. I like that idea. I've always liked that idea. So yeah, I wish they would do something for that, especially if they can at the same time kill 2 birds with 1 stone and not have 4 days in between playoff games.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you only have 2 days. Whoa.
I'm with you. I'm with you on that as well. I just wanted to hit on that NBA stuff. How about LeBron on Christmas Day? This kind of leads. Oh, the NBA, we're king on Christmas, but fucking none of them games was good on Christmas Day on the NFL, and they were all more watched than your fucking bullshit, LeBron. So shut up.
I mean, just I've made it known my thoughts and feelings on the fraud king. Like not everything. Just because you quote unquote are the face of the NBA doesn't mean NBA ain't king of shit. You know what I'm saying? The NFL proved that. Right. The
They
NFL
right now
proved that.
bottom of the leagues to me. Like they
Right, and their ratings are getting worse. Their ratings
Yeah.
are getting worse under your watch, LeBron. So for you to come out and just say some asinine shit, but I
And then
guess
he
from
tried,
the
to, he
guy,
tried to pass the buck on Steph Curry. Did you see that?
right? Yeah, for the guy that
Me?
came out himself talking about he the
Me?
greatest and had his wife at a big awards thing talk about the greatest. You know what I'm saying? You ain't shy about saying that shit. Don't lie. You say what
Yeah.
you've lied about that already, but to lie and say NBA is king on Christmas, no, you're not, bro. The NFL came,
It's fair
bitch,
to
bitch
say that
slapped you.
it's not
They
my
bitch
fault.
slapped you
Yeah.
and took your day.
Yeah. It's Steph's fault. It's the three. I don't shoot that many 3-point shots. It's all them guys. It's Steph and Clay's fault. The reason the ratings are down. Not mine. Not me. Not LeBron.
No, not LeBron stacking up every team you've ever played for and still had somebody in your generation win more than you, but you're the GOAT. Please.
Yeah. Let's get to the NFL. Johnny, yesterday I enjoyed the 3 Saturday games. I guess, there wasn't a lot of college games, and the middle game though, that was the doozy. The Bengals and the Broncos, both teams fighting for the playoffs. Broncos, if they win, they're in. Bengals need to win and get some help. But to me, I proposed this question on Twitter yesterday as well. If the Bengals get in, like, Joe Burrow's got to be damn near MVP. What he is doing with just Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, with a dumbass head coach and Zach Taylor, no fucking defense, and he's revived them back from the dead. To me, he should be MVP. And now he is, after yesterday, he's the only player in NFL history with 250 plus passing yards, 3 touchdowns in 8 straight games.
Yeah,
if they make the playoffs, Joe Burrow,
he should get it. He should get it. I agree with you completely on that one, especially with the Lamar, Josh Allen thing kind of being close. And again, they're both having great seasons.
They got a
right.
team.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. It's not like either one of them is like on a historic pace that he's just going absolutely berserk. Then I can understand, well, you don't want to take it from him. But for Joe Burrow to bring Cincinnati into the playoffs after the way that team started the season, like you mentioned, an incompetent head coach, in my opinion, they just lucked out.
Should have won that game yesterday by a butt. Take the fucking points in the first half. You let 6 points in the half, and then you score 6 points. We're not having to go to overtime.
Right. No, I completely agree with you on that. But damn, watching Joe Burrow play frustrates me. It's bittersweet because I love watching him play. I love the attitude and swag and his, you know what I'm saying, yeah, I'm the man and all that shit. Like, I love the answer he gave when somebody asked him, how long is your NFL Super Bowl window? And he was like, my whole career. You know what I'm saying? He's like, my whole career. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want that dude on my team. And to know that that's the year that we tanked and decided to sign Ryan Fitzpatrick for some strange reason. Chris Greer, you're trying to lose every game. Why not get a journeyman quarterback that you knew could rally the troops and win a few games? Like, that makes a lot of fucking sense, you moron.
You got to show that we're trying to win.
Fuck that. They were already accusing you of that shit anyway. So, like, just lean into it. Make sure if you're gonna tank for the first pick, make sure you get the first pick. You know what I'm saying? Because we could have had Joe Burrow down here in Miami. And then, of course, we know they took 2 over Justin Herbert. So how's that look after what Justin just did as well? But I digress. But I love watching Joe Burrow play. I'm with you. If he gets that team to the playoffs, he has to get a bunch of MVP votes. And I think he will because he is a popular player. Everybody seems to love him. You know what I'm saying? I mean, yeah, he's cocky or whatever, and it may rub some people the wrong way. But for the most part, everybody loves him. He got his team to the Super Bowl his second year. Everybody knows what he's dealing with as far as the offensive line being hot garbage and not having a defense. But he's got those two. Sorry, Dolphin fan. Those 2 guys right there deserve $30 million a year, not the 2 we got in Miami. To be completely honest,
the sad thing is their owners probably not.
Yeah, they're only going to pay one. They're only going to pay one, so they'll probably give Jamar his money. So T. Higgins, He's going to be a nice. Somebody's going to get a stud.
Opened up even larger. Somebody's going to back up the bank truck. Reports are the Patriots are going to offer.
But they let Joe Mixon go, and still they got the Chris Brown kid who seems like a decent back. Chase Brown, sorry. Who seems sorry, not Rihanna's ex. But you know what I'm saying? So he's a good player. They got some tight, like I said, but no offensive line, and the defense is hot garbage. You saw the defense yesterday, which was garbage.
Yeah.
But props to Bo Nix and Denver and what they're doing. As a Dolphin fan, I guess for our slim hopes, we're glad to.
Bo Nix, I mean, he's just almost won that game yesterday. He just puts it, I believe, in overtime, or maybe it's the fourth quarter. If he just puts that on a bucket for that kid, was wide open. He just outreached him in the Knicks. But I like the way he's playing. He seems like a guy that's a dude. That's a dude that's going to rally the troops.
Absolutely. A coach's kid, you know what I'm saying? I love coaches' kids because they grew up with it. You know what I'm saying? They grew up with that. People were like, oh, well, he's too old. What is he, 24? He's too old.
He's got experience.
He's got experience. If anything, that's helped him. He's hit the ground, pretty well. It was a little shaky in the beginning, but he played well for the most part. I'm sure if he put up his rookie numbers, he's having a nice season. And he was going toe-to-toe with Joe Burrow yesterday. So props to him for doing that. I don't know why Sean Payton calls time out when you're trying to just waste the clock. So that was a little, you know what I'm saying, worrisome, I guess.
Yeah.
You worry about anything, but I like what Denver's doing. But I'm with you, Joe Burrow. Yeah, he gets his team to the playoffs. They need help. They need us to lose. They need Indianapolis to lose. They need Denver again. But
Denver's playing the Chiefs, which I don't know how much the Chiefs are going to play.
Well, I mean, from what I read something yesterday where I guess that the starters are going to play. How long are they going to play? I don't know. But don't think that Kansas City wouldn't like to just make sure that Denver ain't there.
Denver.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
let me ask you this: if I'm the Bills. That's the team that they would play, pretty much. If I'm the Bills, I want the Broncos. Don't let. If I'm any AFC team, I don't want nothing to do with Joe Burrow coming into my building, and because we've seen it. You know what I mean? We've seen him make the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? Like we've seen him go on runs.
Yeah, like there was some people on Twitter last night saying that Kansas City wants Denver to win, so that way they don't have to deal with Joe Burrow. I would agree. I mean, I get that. That makes sense. Yeah. But
Denver wants to try to beat you 24-21. Right. The Bengals, their best thing is just, hey, you score 45, we'll score 50. You know what I mean? Like, and see what happens.
Right. Not only that, but you said it. None of those teams want to see.
And if I'm the Bills, have you seen their defense?
Walking into that building. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, oh, damn. You know what I'm saying? Like, if he goes off, we ain't winning this game.
Have you seen the Bills' defense? I would pick that, like, you know what I mean? Their defense hasn't been very good the last few weeks either.
No, it hasn't. I mean, it's been okay for most of the year, but it hasn't been nothing special.
Yeah.
And again, like you said,
give me the talented. Give me the Bengals who are more talented. Like, I love Josh Allen. I think he's a great quarterback, and his will to win is phenomenal. But the Bengals just have so much more talent.
Especially the top two. I mean, Buffalo's got some talent. You know what I'm saying? They traded for Amari Cooper. They got the two tight ends, Kincaid and Knox.
Chase and Higgins alone. And that doesn't include your guy, Mike Gesicki, who's been playing, you know what I mean? It's kind of like their third wide receiver. You know what I mean? They're not asking him to block Johnny. They're just saying, go out here and do what you do, catch balls, and Joe's fine.
No, I hear you on that. And again, just you're saying, they can put up points. You know that the quarterback is fearless and they not going to phase him. Yeah, I mean, I get it. You know what I'm saying? I would pick Buffalo at home in that game, in that scenario that we're painting. But yeah, I'm with you with the whole. I'm sure everybody's looking around like, nah, bro, we don't need Cincinnati up in here. Yeah. Let them go home early. You know what I'm saying? Let them go on vacation early.
And they're hot right now, too.
Right, and they're hot right now. That'll be a nice streak going into the playoffs if they were to make it. You said, yeah, I feel you on that one. Ain't nobody trying to.
The coach was going to about cost him yesterday, but I just was, you know what I mean? And everybody watching, it's like, holy shit, Joe Burrow, he's that dude right now. Like, he's just that, he is coming on late, and he even said, they said yesterday he's playing the best. He feels the best he's ever played. The game is, they always say there's a point in time where the game slows down for the greats.
Right.
And he said, like, the game is slowed down. He's healthy. And by God, he looks like it. There's not a throw that he can't make. You know what I mean?
Right.
Just like Patrick Mahomes, like there's not a throw he can't make. And Jones,
right, and he doesn't have the biggest arm, but he has a good arm. You're saying he's accurate with it. His pocket presence, just the way he can manipulate the pocket and move around and stuff to buy extra time, just like Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. And he finds a way to scramble and get some yardage when on big plays when it presents itself. He takes advantage of it running as well. Obviously not Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson, but he can get it done just like Patrick Mahomes. Now I love Joe Burrow. I like Joe Burrow fucking a lot, bro. Like I said, that's why it's bittersweet watching him play because you know what I'm saying. I'm enjoying him. Oh yeah, I know how you are with him. But but yeah, no, I'm with you, man. Like I don't think any AFC team wants to see him coming into their house. Is that enough incentive for Kansas City to like throw a game? No. But they may not stress obviously the outcome. So maybe you just play your starters for a quarter or the half.
You let them get their incentives, right? Like that's what.
Oh yeah. You make sure that
you need 3 catches, you need 4 like
right.
You know what I mean? Like, hey, let's make sure our guys get paid, and then we're gonna sit them. You know what I mean?
Do that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, obviously, you got to worry about possible injuries that would suck. You know what I'm saying? Especially in a situation like that where the game doesn't matter to you. But yeah, you definitely want to get people their due and whatever they can earn on incentives and stuff like that for the season. And if you could knock out a division rival in the playoffs, that's always a good thing. But if you wind up losing the game, shame that Joe Burrow ain't gonna be in the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? Like one of those type of things. Like we really wanted to win, but weird.
Yeah. Good job, Denver. You made it. Right. Yeah. And it would be different if they were still undefeated, right? Like I think if they were still undefeated, they go for the record.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Loss. Real quick on Bo Nix, I did appreciate his. So like it's you watch these rookie quarterbacks. And you watch Bo Nix yesterday, he's like, fuck, that's on me. Like he kind of told his team, like, it's on me. Like I should have dumped it. I should have put it on a bucket. In the bucket for him, I missed the throw like twice. Really, he was like, "Fuck, that's on." But you watch Thursday night's game against the Bears, and Caleb's like, "This team's been trash before this for decades," and his fucking body language. Give me the kid that's like, "Hey, owns it." You know what I mean? He kind of owns it a bit. So.
The more mature, experienced kid that they were complaining about was too old. Well, look at that. Now you complain this kid is acting immature. Well, which one you saying? Which one do you want? You know what I'm saying? But I'm with you on that one. I want a guy that's going to take accountability.
Give me the leader.
That's what a leader. That's what a leader is all about. Not whining and pouting on the sideline. Like I'm not a big fan of that at all. I don't like the bad body language. Lamar Jackson has some of that in him. You know what I'm saying? Where he gets frustrated and gets attitude or whatever. It looks like he's pouting sometimes. But, bro, you're a rookie and you're already doing this, and now you're talking shit about your franchise. Like, I don't know, man. I mean, Washington couldn't be happier, bro.
Right.
You know, they didn't have to deal with making the decision. They were at number 2 and a Heisman, you know what I'm saying, a good kid, you know what I'm saying, looks like he wants to, a good person to be the face of the franchise, good leader. They love him over there in Washington. So it looks like Washington got the better of the two right there. And then Bo Nix, like you mentioned, looks good.
And they
I like this draft class.
The Commanders beat the Falcons tonight. That helps out the Bucks, and then they would clinch the playoffs too. That's the Sunday night game. I'm just kind of scrolling through the games here. There's really other than my Packers, the Packers-Vikings game, the 3:00 game. The early slate games kind of stink. So a lot of games that don't mean a whole lot of shit for the playoffs. So
a lot of red zone today.
We have a lot of red zone today. Let's get into our yearly reviews, I guess.
Yep.
Real quick, I did watch Red One. I thought it was pretty decent.
Nice.
Pretty good Christmas movie.
Right.
Enjoyed it. And what I watched the other night. Carry On. Have you seen that? It's on Netflix.
No, I haven't, but I've been hearing some good things about it.
Jason Bateman, pretty good TSA type shit. Pretty good movie.
Yeah, no, that's definitely on the list. Excuse me, of ones that I do want to check out. Carry on Netflix there, but yeah, no, it's been a good year of movies. So I have, I actually got my top 5 movies that I watched this year, and I'm also going to throw in real quick the top 5 either television series or a TV show or whatever. Number 5 for me for the movies, I'm going to go with A Quiet Place Day One. Big fan of A Quiet Place. So to basically see an origin story of when they first attacked was a lot of fun. So I got that one at number 5. Number 4, I'm going with the newest version of the Bad Boys, Ride or Die. It was a lot of fun to see Martin Lawrence and Will Smith once again was a lot of fun. They did a really good job with the story. There's an awesome scene in there with Reggie. If you're a Bad Boys fan, you know Reggie from the very first movie where he comes to take out Martin's daughter, and they do the whole little scene there where they're like questioning him and stuff like that there. So to see him in this movie and what he does is a great scene with him in this. But it was a lot of fun, Bad Boys type movie, a lot of fun, a lot of action, a lot of humor. So I got that one at number 4.
Better than that was better. The 4th one was better than the 3rd one.
Absolutely, the first 2 are my favorite ones. The 3rd one was This one was really good. The story was really good too. No, they did a really good one on this one here. It's funny. It's got the great mix of fun and action or whatever, and some seriousness. So definitely deserving. My number 3, I'm going with Godzilla X Kong. If you're not into that type of genre and stuff, then I get it. But it's a lot of fun if you like Godzilla, King Kong at all. Watching them fight each other and then watching them have to team up to win was even better. So now I got that for number 3. My number 2 movies, I'm going to go with Dune Part 2. Just visually, it was just a beautiful movie. They did a really good job. The continuation from the first Dune to the second one was really well done. Timothy Chalamet is doing a really good job with that role. Obviously got Zendaya there as well, who's always saying good. But they did a really good job with that. The visual of that is awesome. The way they went to like a black and white scene when they did this stuff for the one particular family with the bald heads or whatever, like they did a really good job with Dune. Dune Part 2 is if you're into that at all. If you're not, you should check them out. They're really good. They got a TV series called Dune Prophecy going on right now on Max, so check it out. But my number 1 movie was Deadpool and Wolverine. One of the best movies I've seen in a long time. A lot of fun. Best Marvel movie since Endgame, without a doubt. I mean, there were a couple of okay ones after that, but no, for the most part, nothing. But it was just so much fun. It was so raunchy to see Ryan Reynolds or Deadpool and Wolverine together. It was a lot of fun. The whole Void thing was a lot of fun. A ton of cameos in that movie. That's going to lead to all these other things that's going on. Definitely a lot of fun. I love the Deadpool movies anyway. Ryan Reynolds is a treasure when it comes to that type of character or whatever. But him and Wolverine together, Wolverine's one of my favorite, superhero comic book heroes ever. So yeah, Deadpool and Wolverine was definitely my number 1. Real quick on the shows, True Detective, I got number 5, the new one, Night Country. Check it out with Jodie Foster, is really good. Number 4, I got Terminator Zero. It's a anime type Terminator show on Netflix. Definitely check that out if you're a Netflix fan. Number 3, I got X-Men 97. They continue the seasons on Disney of the new X-Men. My number 2 is Fallout. I didn't play the game, but the show is on Prime, and it's a lot of fun. That show is really, really good, bro. So check out Fallout if you get a chance. My number 1, I didn't even put it on the list, the one that I was talking about here, but my number 1 is The Penguin. One of the best shows, period. Not just this year that I've ever watched. Definitely the best comic book version of a show, you know what I'm saying, having to do with any type of a comic book character or whatever. Obviously the Penguin is from the DC and from the Batman universe, but at no point in time during that 8-episode show do you ever think, well, where's Batman? Like you're not even worried about or thinking about Batman. That's how good the story is and the performances. Colin Farrell was awesome. Kristen Miliana was great in that show. Great acting, great storytelling. The Penguin is it. A couple nominees. Shogun on Hulu is awesome. FX. I'm enjoying the Skeleton Crew right now. It's a Star Wars show. If you're into animation, Batman: The Last Crusader, the Cape Crusader, excuse me, is really, really good for you Batman fans out there. So definitely check those out. So number 1, Penguin. Number 2, Fallout. 3, X-Men '97. 4, Terminator Zero. And number 5, True Detective. Just some TV shows to throw out there. A lot of good cinematic and televised stuff this year.
Okay. So I did. I'm gonna review my favorite albums of the year, man, because I listen so much, so it's hard, man.
Yeah,
like,
write these down, people.
Right, yeah. I listened to everything, and I was so hard. So I just kind of went back to my Apple Music.
Mhm.
And just like, it kind of gives you like your replay of the year,
Right.
to kind of help out. So I'm gonna give out my honorable mentions first. Joyner Lucas's new album was incredible. Zach Bryan's album was incredible. Who else? There's a couple other people. I can't even think at the top of my head now, but nonetheless. So let me get into my top 5. Oh, Ernest, his album, I really liked his album this past year as well. But here's my top 5. Here's my number 5. I went Snoop Dogg, Missionary. That album, I still, it's just, I don't know. I told you 2 weeks ago when we did when we talked about this album, just 1 through 10. Dre on the beats, was in his bag. It's so good. Number 4 is Kendrick's GNX album. I feel like Kendrick really kind of owned the whole year as far as like music is wise, with the beef with Drake and all the things. And I mean, Not Like Us might be song of the damn year. I don't know.
Right.
But that whole album was really good. Then we get to just like more personal stuff that I really, number 3 is Jelly Roll. I really enjoyed his album. I enjoyed his first album, the last album, a little bit more, but the Broken Skull album, I think it's called Broken Skull. That album is really good. I enjoyed that album. And I want to make sure I get the album right. Yeah, Beautifully Broken. Sorry. And then my number 2 album is Red Stray Clay's Moments. Just one of my favorite albums, really my favorite, maybe my favorite country artist band right now. And then number 1, I outplayed this album, and I still listen to it all the time. And that's Eminem, the death of Slim Shady. Loved that album from top to bottom. Again, it was a lot of fun. It's a concept album. So, and that's my own preference. I get maybe people aren't into Eminem, but I tell people all the time, I'm a little bit of a stand. So, his album, I listen to it religiously. So, it was probably my favorite album of the year. So, those are my top 5 albums to get into.
Right. Definitely check out. I mean, Nick listed a lot of shit this year. So if he's giving you his top 5, there's some good shit out there.
It is.
So all highly recommended. And if you have a problem with Eminem being your top 5 of anything, you got issues. That's a you issue. Eminem issue because he's that good. But no, I'm looking for. I got them written down here. I'm looking forward to. I've checked out a couple of things, but definitely looking forward to listening to a lot of stuff in 2025. So anxious for this new year to get here ready.
True that. Yeah. So like, it's funny because like I go like if you can go month by month, and like so like Zach Bryan was my number 1 in January. Then it's like February is somebody different. Chris Stapleton, like you know what I mean. Then in March it's Joyner Lucas because his album Not Now I'm Busy dropped, so I listened to that a lot. And then April it was just Ernest album. I listened to it a lot. Nashville, Tennessee. Then May. It's somebody different. You know what I mean? Like it's just somebody different each month for me. So let's get into year in review of the best sports stories of 2000 or sports people of 2024. Johnny, do you have a number 5?
Yeah, number 5. I'm gonna go ahead and give it to the. I've got 3 teams here and then 2 players is the way I'm looking at it.
Okay.
But I'm gonna go with the Florida Panthers at number 5, their first ever championship. Joining Tampa Bay with the Florida teams now, winning championships. So who would have thunk it? A Florida team wins the NHL hockey championship, and that Florida Panther team is a good squad. I don't know where they're sitting at right now, but I had to shout out my boys from Kendall Sports Network. They're big Florida Panthers fans, so I got Florida Panthers are my number 5 story.
Yeah, my number 5 is UFC fighter Alex Pereira. He stepped on short notice 3 different times, defended his title 3 different times, and ended each time knocking out his opponent. A little preview into Wednesday night, this coming Wednesday night show on Head Kicks and Haymakers. We're giving out our award show. So a little preview of who my fighter of the year probably is going to be. And it's Alex Pereira. This man stepped in on short notice and fought on their big card, UFC 300. Then their next big card is International Fight Week. He steps in and wins in knockout fashion. Then 2 months later steps in again on a short notice fight in Salt Lake City. And again, all 3 fights, all 3 knockouts, 3-0 on the year for Alex Pereira. So he is my number 5. Who's your number 4?
My number 4, I'm gonna go with. As hard as it for me to admit, but okay. Number 4, I'm gonna go with the Dodgers winning the World Series over the Yankees. The Yankees basically did not show up after that game 1, where Garrett Cole was pitching well, and our manager decided to bring in a relief pitcher who hadn't pitched in almost 2 months to face a future Hall of Famer, Freddie Freeman. When you had a lefty that was basically locking everybody up all playoffs long in the bullpen ready to go. But no, let's bring out Nestor Cortez, who immediately gives up a grand slam, walk-off grand slam to the Dodgers, and it just seemed like the momentum was completely gone. Like you had a chance to steal that game 1 and literally pee down your leg and gave it back to them in dramatic fashion. And it looked like this just catapulted the Dodgers completely right over us. We did not play well. We did not run the bases well. We did not defend well. Topping it off by that horrible 5th inning with Judge making his first error of the year there. All the horrible base running and stuff like that. So the Dodgers winning the World Series over my Yankees in 5 was a complete embarrassment, but that's my number 4 story.
Okay. Again, I did more people than stories.
You good? That's good. That makes it better. You get a little bit of both from us here, people.
So my number 4 is Dan Hurley, the UConn coach. Wins back-to-back at UConn national championships. And then we forget this man was headed to L.A. We all pegged him. He was going to be the Lakers head coach, sat down. They gifted this man a huge contract and flew back to UConn, sat on it, and said, no, thank you, which is huge, right? To stay – I'd rather coach the college, continue to build success here, continue to add championships to UConn. So Dan Hurley is my number 4 for not just going back-to-back in March Madness, but then almost taking the damn Lakers job and then saying, in UConn, obviously going to be right there again this year, in 2025. So we haven't heard or seen the last of Dan Hurley as he continues to build the juggernaut. That maybe Calhoun built the bricks, built the, built the
foundation. The foundation.
Yeah, foundation. And now he's just adding, he gets to decorate it all right now. So, Dan Hurley is my number 4. Who's your number 3?
All right, my number 3, I'm going to go a little closer to home. I'm going to go with Cam Ward and the Miami Hurricanes. Again, Hurricanes fans, let's stop acting like we're supposed to win 10 games every year. We're nowhere near that level anymore. So our first 10-win season in a minute, and it was just so much fun watching him play. He wound up being, a top Heisman vote getter, goes to New York, probably going to be a top 5 pick. I prefer him over Shedeur Sanders, but that's just me. He just has something about. He's got that it to him. He can make every throw. A great leader. I know a lot of people trying to shit on him for only playing the first half, but he played it all when he didn't have to. You say he can be a top 5 pick. He wanted to be out there with his boys. So he did that. He did exactly what he told Miami he was going to do by putting them back up on the map. He did do that. It would have been nice to see him in the playoffs just to watch him against some of these defenses. Would have been entertaining, but I think the same thing, like I mentioned earlier, would have happened. We would have our defense is hot garbage. So we would have gave it up. But yeah, I got Cam Ward with the Miami Hurricanes, my number 3.
Yeah, my number 3 is Shohei Ohtani. First, we got to start at the beginning of the baseball. Well, first we got to almost start at the beginning of the year. He has the Tommy John surgery, right? He's injured. Signs the big contract with the Dodgers. All the deferred money, and then right around that time, right after his contract, his interpreter is fucking gambling on baseball.
All right. Yeah, you can't see me with the quote unquote. Yeah, it was his interpreter.
Was gambling on baseball, and we didn't know whether he was even going to be able to play. Then he gets all the money, then everything's okay, and then he goes on and does, becomes the first ever 50-50 guy. So Shohei Ohtani is my number 3. You can't write the baseball without him over the last of 2024, and it's just different assets, right? Of like the contract signing, where we started this time last year. Where's he going to go?
Right.
At the beginning of 24, then we started the season. This guy's been, all this gambling stuff's going on. And now look at us. And now he's MVP, wins his first World Series and 50-50 and everything else. So Shohei Ohtani is my number 3. Who's your number 2?
Yeah, that's actually a great one and could easily be number 1.
Very well.
The storylines in baseball, period. He does that in the National League Judge with another 58 and him and Juan Soto. And I almost did those two together. But I'm not. I try to not stay too much on my own shit. But that was a great story. Just Soto and Judge back to back in the lineup was phenomenal to watch all year. For you Yankee fans like me that actually enjoyed the journey, you enjoyed it. Did it end well? No. And he's gone. So what? You got a great year last year from it. That's the way I look at it, bro. As I get older, I don't stress that shit. My number 2, I got to go with freaking 15 and the Chiefs.
Yeah,
back-to-back champs.
My number 2 as well.
Champs.
Yeah.
Beat up my soft ass Dolphin team in the freezing weather at home, and then went on the road the next 2 games and said, "Oh, we need to have home field advantage." I'm sorry, what'd you say?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. So they beat Baltimore on the road. They do what they need to do. Go ahead and win another world championship. That's back to back. Now they're 15-1 and aiming for a 3rd.
And the 1 seed,
and the 1 seed, right? Yeah. They got the 1 seed already. I mean, the only thing as a Dolphin fan that I'm grateful for is that they're undefeated. Because seriously, like they could, the way that defense is built and Chris Jones and how good he is, and then you got 15 on the other side, which it doesn't matter who his weapons are. He just elevates everybody. So yeah, I got Kansas City as my number 2 story for 2024, winning the back-to-back titles.
Yeah, that's me too. And the fact that we're going into 2025 and they're the favorite to win the 3rd one. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, it's just enjoy it, Tanner.
Yeah. So that's where we're at. Your number 1 story.
My number 1 story is and if you're a sports fan at all, it's Caitlin Clark.
Same.
Yes, Caitlin Clark is a phenomenon. She's the best thing to happen to the WNBA since their existence. I'm a big time fan of hers. I'm also going to throw in there as well. I'm going to give a quick shout out to the New York Liberty winning their first ever WNBA title. Sabrina Ionescu, Brianna Stewart, congratulations to them. But Caitlin Clark, again, what she's done for women's basketball for herself, anything she does is like discussed, bro. Like she does the great, People magazine or whatever, Time magazine, whatever the hell it was, whichever one that she was just on the cover on. She looks phenomenal there.
Women's Time magazine of the year.
Yeah, Time magazine, right. Women, right, after the year, whatever, and she deserves it. The great picture up front, you'll say, where she's hooping, you'll say, showing a little whatever. People criticize her for that. Oh, why you got to show your stuff? Like, people just got to bitch to bitch. She's phenomenal. They're quick to want to, hate on her and diminish what she's done, but she broke every type of record, easily won Rookie of the Year. She ended off the phenomenal run, at Iowa, getting back to the championship game. She didn't win it, but again, she got Iowa to back-to-back title games. If she was on UConn, they would have gone undefeated a couple of those seasons while she was there. So let's put that into perspective, people, because right now everybody wants to jump on Paige and Juju, who are very talented players and great players. They're not Caitlin. Caitlin is just a different level. Give her flowers, enjoy the ride, enjoy watching her play. But yes, Caitlin Clark, without a doubt, is my number one sports story for 2024.
Yeah, same, for the exact same reasons. We started the year at this time last year. She was leading Iowa. They were number 2, 3 ranked in the nation. Goes on the run in the Final Four, gets back to the national championship game. This time again falls short against undefeated South Carolina team, which is there's no I guess like no fault to that.
Right. Yeah. No shame in that.
No shame. Yeah. No shame in that. Then is number 1 pick in the WNBA. All eyes on her. And what does she do? She absolutely fucking delivers. And then she was talked about, oh, she should play in the All-Star game or the Olympics, blah, blah, blah. She was like that. And maybe she should have. I was actually an advocate that she shouldn't have. She needed the rest. I'm glad that she's not in this weird 3-on-3 league right now that a lot of these women are jumped in. She's trying to work on her game. They got a new coach. Caitlin Clark is the most sports story of 2024. You can't write a year of sports without, writing her in it. And rightfully so. She should be number 1 at least in my mind. For everything that she's done for the game, for women's sports and women's basketball and really everything. You go to her games, they were all the most watched games, in college women's history. You know what I'm saying? So, give me Caitlin Clark as my number 1 as well. So
yeah, I see well deserving again, Time Magazine's, after the year, well deserving college basketball player of the year, rookie of the year in the WNBA. I mean, like, you can't have a better year successful. Had she won a national title, obviously, and for all you WNBA fans of other teams that are hating on her, it's only going to get worse. Yeah, because she's only going to get better. She's already getting stronger. You can tell in her arms and her shoulders, she's got more muscle tone to her. Yeah, and they got a guy, one of their fitness guys or whatever. Like, that coach brought in one of her dudes to be in there to be physical with Caitlin, to get her used to going into the lane and stuff like that. So, and she's a really good coach, Stephanie White. So, for all you Indiana Fever haters and you Caitlin Clark haters, watch out, because it's only going to get worse, because now she's going to start putting rings on her finger in the WNBA. And then what are you going to do? Then there's you can't say that she ain't. No, you're just going to have to deal with it. So, prepare yourselves, people.
Exactly.
I can't wait, man. She's fun to watch, bro.
Exactly. Other than that, John, you got anything else to dump out?
No, just hope everybody had a good Christmas. As we approach this new year, be safe out there. You know what I'm saying? Don't travel. You know what I'm saying? If you're drinking, find a place where you can just crash and spend New Year's there safely, and just do it that way. But yeah, no, I just hope everybody had a good Christmas. Dolphins are playing a game today to see if they can actually have purpose for next week. But we don't even know if Tua is going to play. So, yeah, that's about all I got. Can Do Sports Network, Mondays. Dolphin Chronicles, me, Byron, and Alex. We got a bunch of stuff going on at Kendall Sports. Check that out. But no, just looking forward to watching some football today. My Dolphins don't play till 4:00, so I get to watch some Red Zone throughout the day or whatever, get some stuff done around the house, and I'll be back for the recap show.
Yeah, we'll be back 7:00 Central Eastern. We'll recap all the things, in the NFL Week 17. We got 2 weeks of the regular season. This week's pretty much already half over with the games from Wednesday to Thursday to yesterday. So now we got a little slate today, and then we'll recap all of today's games as well. at 7 o'clock Central, 8 Eastern. Other than that, folks, be a friend, tell a friend, like, subscribe. We'll see you in the new year next Sunday. So we'll see you next year and for another weekly dump. So we dumped out everything of this past year, and we'll be taking some more dumps in 2025. So other than that, be a friend, tell a friend, folks, like, subscribe, share. We'll see you tonight.
Peace.
Thanks so much for joining us, and until next time, let's talk sport, friends. Thanks for watching.